Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt with OddsJam, and today we'll be doing a Monday Night Football preview. So we got an awesome game tonight between the Cardinals and the Rams. These two teams have actually played before this year. They played in Los Angeles, and the Cardinals beat the door off of them to the tune of 37-20, 37, something like that. They just absolutely dominated them. So this time they're in Arizona. Kyler Murray is a couple weeks back now from that ankle sprain that he suffered. Looks like the OddsJam perfect line has the Cardinals at minus 128 and the Rams at plus 116. So there's no scenario in which there's a positive EV play there on the money line. And just to save you guys the time, as of right now, the time of this recording, there's also no positive EV play for the Rams Cardinals on this page. But I did want to give a preview and talk some football. And I did end up settling on two bets that I didn't steal from this page, but I still think are confident bets. Two of them I put $50 on, and then I have just a $10 parlay. Not crazy, only like plus 450 odds. I think it was on 3 plays, but a parlay that I thought was fun. So that's what I have up here now. But back to the game. So the Cardinals, funny enough, they're the home team, but they only have a 3-2 record at home, while they're 7-0 away. That's kind of a funny little quirk. I don't think there's really much to that. I think that might just be two of those home games, one of them they lost to the Packers in a game, without no shame in losing to the Packers. They almost had a chance to win at the end, but Kyler Murray sprained his ankle and he threw a pick in the end zone. The other loss was a game that Kyler Murray didn't play, and that was Cam Newton's first game back for the Panthers. So I think there's a little bit of emotional edge with Carolina that hasn't really shown itself since. And in the 3 games that Kyler Murray missed, they won 2 of them. So this just happened to be the game that they dropped. So personally, I don't take too much from the home and away split. I think that's kind of more just an interesting scheduling quirk than anything. But the thing that I did really want to note on this page is just the difference in point differential from the Cardinals to the Rams. It feels like the Cardinals, despite being 10-2, and I think they have the second best point differential in the NFL. It looks like they're plus 119. I think the best is unfortunately the Patriots at plus 1. Okay, Patriots and Bills have the top 2 point differential. And overall statistics and analysis have shown that point differential is a bigger indicator of a team as far as going far, because the good teams blow out the bad teams, and if they might lose a close game, that's less indicative. So I rely on point differential, obviously, as not the say-all of everything. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into it, but the fact that there's a 60-point differential difference between the Rams and the Cardinals, especially when Kyler Murray has missed 3 games, that says a lot to me. So that's actually going to be my first play, is going to be the Cardinals money line. I just, I don't think they're getting enough respect as a legit Super Bowl contender. If you look at DVOA right now, they're ranked 5th, and the Rams are 6th, which is funny enough. They got the 3rd best defense, which nobody thought going into this year that they'd have a good defense, and the 12th best offense. My guess is the offense, that'll change. That'd be higher if Murray hadn't missed 3 games. They weren't terrible in the games that he missed, but it's just not quite the same when you're starting quarterback and someone as good as Kyler Murray is out. And to be honest with you, I was surprised to see the Rams as high as 6th, because if you look at the Rams' schedule, they've really been struggling recently. So they've lost 3 of their last 4. And then the game, pretty much since that Bucs game in September, they've kind of been a little bit disappointing. So the week after that, they got blown out by the Cardinals, 37-20. They beat the Seahawks in a game in which that was when Russell Wilson got hurt, and the Seahawks just haven't quite been that great of a team. They blew out the Giants. That doesn't mean much. They beat the the Lions by 9. Again, doesn't mean much. Texans doesn't mean much. Then here's a stretch that's really been disappointing. So they lost 3 straight to teams with winning records before blowing out the Jaguars by 30. Obviously, if you've been following the NFL, you know that there's a lot of turmoil going on in Jacksonville, and yours truly thinks Urban Meyer is just a terrible person, so I don't hate to see that going on. But it's hard to really take much from a 30-point drubbing of the Jaguars, because that team is just in total shambles. I find more importance in getting blown out to the Titans in a team that's also kind of been struggling, because this Derrick Henry didn't play, had already been hurt in that game. And the Titans were 8-2. They lost 2 straight. after this game. But, the Rams, that was this primetime game where they looked bad. This was another primetime game. They got blown out by the 49ers. And this 36-28 score against the Packers was closer than the score actually was. They put on some points late. Like you said, as you can see, they outscored them by 11 in the fourth quarter. So that game was 36-17, and the game was kind of over, and the Packers just let off the gas a little bit. So I personally, if you're not surprised by this, I'm taking the Cardinals in this game. I've been working on a model myself that I've been not ready to make public yet, but it has about a 68% historical winning rate as far as my model goes, and it puts the in the odds put the Cardinals, the -129 that I'm getting them at Bet Rivers, puts that at a bit of 56% chance of winning. My model puts them at about 58 exactly percent chance of winning. So I do like that 2% difference between what my model says and what the odds are getting on the Cardinals. I know it's not positive EV, but it's only one away from the OddsJam perfect line, so it's not terrible. So my first bet, I put $50 just straight up money line for the Cardinals, so that you can see that here. I have some other open bets, but this Cardinals money line I have $50 on, so that's going to be my first play. I'm a big fan of the Cardinals. I think they're not getting. I wasn't at the beginning of the year. I'm on record saying that, but I've grown to really respect what they've done. And while I wasn't a huge Cliff Kingsbury guy, his team's been playing well, and they won 2 games without Kyler Murray, which was impressive. They, they've shown up to almost every test that they've faced. So I'm confident taking the Cardinals. I don't think that the home-away splits really mean anything other than just kind of an interesting scheduling quirk. And the Rams, I thought that after they lost, so they had a bye week. They had a bye week after they lost this game, after they got blown out by the 49ers. So I thought that they were going to come out and play the Packers a lot tougher than they did. But they came out looking lifeless. And the final score doesn't really indicate how much of that game was a blowout. So, I'm not really impressed with the Rams. Stafford's kind of been hit or miss. He's been a little bit banged up. I think that the Rams really miss Robert Woods. Odell Beckham isn't quite the same player that he was, and he had that long touchdown. I believe it was against the Packers. And he had a touchdown against the Jaguars, but he hasn't really been producing that much against the since he's been on the Rams. And the Cardinals, like I said, have a stout defense, highlighted by their Chandler Jones in that pass rush. So Cardinals money line is going to be my first play. The second play is another one that's a little bit of a not a huge positive expected value play, but just if you leave in the vig. It's going to be this under 51.5. And this is more of a system play than anything. Divisional round games played at the end of the year tend to trend towards the under. I believe it's about a 60-61% rate. I've seen that number floating around on Twitter. So while the system plays there, obviously that's not everything. 60% isn't 100%. But I think that, looking at these two teams, the first game going 37-20 doesn't scare me. The Rams offense has kind of been struggling. Like I said, they put on 11 points late against the Packers when that game was out of hand. And previous to that, 10 points against the 49ers, 16 points against the Titans. Two defenses that are okay. The Titans defense had been playing better, but I don't really still view that as a great defense. And the 49ers have some good stout pass rushers, but they've been kind of they're beat up in the secondary. So putting up only 10 points against them is tough. And then again, this Jaguars game, it's hard to take much from it just because it was just a total drubbing. And then on the other side, the Cardinals. So this is Murray's second game back. I'm expecting him to play well, but they've also been a team where their offense has kind of been hit or miss. So they put up 17 points here against the 49ers in a game that Murray was banged up. And then he missed a couple games. They put up 31 against the 49ers 2 weeks later. So this really isn't as much of a fade on the Cardinals offense as much as it is the Rams offense, and also how much trust I have in the Cardinals defense. So I don't think this is a game that we won't see any fireworks or big plays, but that 51.5 point total is a lot. And for a primetime divisional game played late in the season, it's a huge game for both teams. If the Cardinals lose, they will no longer be the 1 seed because they'll have the same record as the Packers. But as you see here, the Packers own the tiebreaker, so the Packers will be the 1 seed. So, and I think that this is just going to be a game where the Rams loaded up with Von Miller. They have some talent on defense with obviously Von Miller, Aaron Donald, and Jalen Ramsey, and that's why I think that under 51.5 I think is a good play. Again, it's not a game where I think is going to be just a total game where defensive showdown where there's no fireworks, but that 51.5 is a lot, and I just see this game going under that. So that's going to be my second play. I got on Rivers. I got on WynnBet. As you can see here, under 50.5, I put 50 on it. And then the last play I have is just a fun little parlay. So I basically, I think that Murray in a game like this, he's going to use his legs more. Now that he's a week healthier, if you look at his stats, he hadn't been running as much as we're used to seeing Kyler run. But last week against the Bears in his first week back, he had his best rushing performance in a while. So I looked this up. He had 10 carries, which is his most of the season, for 59 yards, which is, again, the most of his season, and 2 touchdowns. Prior to that, he hadn't gone over 40 yards since that last game against the Rams. And then he scored the first 3 weeks of the season rushing, and then took a couple games and then hadn't scored again since this last week against the Bears. So I think he's finally gotten his ankle healthy. I believe that he's going to try and run one in. The Rams, with Aaron Donald and Von Miller, they have a decent run defense, as you can see on DVOA. Their defense is ranked 6th. So they have a decent defense, and Kyler Murray in the red zone is sometimes just a cheat code. So I only put $10 on that to win 45. So it's not a huge play. And then the other two, obviously, I kept the Cardinals money line in there. I decided to take out the under, and I put in over 26.5 home total points. Looking at the Cardinals and the point totals they put up, I know this might sound a little counterintuitive because I took the under, but the Cardinals themselves, they've only scored less than 30 points in 2 games that Kyler Murray started. And one of them, like I said, he was banged up in the San Francisco game, and he got banged up at the end of that Green Bay game. And obviously those 2 games went under, but I can see this being a game that the Cardinals win. Obviously, I think they end up covering the spread, but I just decided to take the money line to be safe. But I think that this is going to be a game where they'll put up, I don't think they'll quite get to 30, but maybe they'll score 4 touchdowns to get to 28. And the Rams will have somewhere like 22 or 23, and then that's how the over will go. So those are going to be my 3 plays for the day. Unfortunately, like I said, there wasn't anything on the positive EV page, but I still wanted to make sure I got some plays out there for you guys. So the first one is going to be this Cardinals money line. Pretty easy. I just think that they're being a little bit underrated after I myself was underrating them at the beginning of the year. But they're a true Super Bowl contender with an elite quarterback, and their defense has played well all year. So Cardinals money line, I'm pretty confident on. This under 51.5, is another kind of play, trusting the Cardinals defense and not being as impressed with the Rams the past month. I really was shocked to see them come out as lifeless as they did after the bye. And I know, like I said, I know that they finished or blew out the Jags last week, but it's hard to put too much emphasis on that because of how bad the Jags are. And then the last one is just this fun little $10 parlay. Cardinals money line, home team, which is the Cardinals over 26.5, and Kyler Murray anytime touchdown score. Those are going to be my 3 plays. As I said, I look forward to this game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I hope we have a good game. And that's all I got for you. So let me know what you think. You can hit me up on Twitter at my handle below, Modi_sports. You can also email me, Matthew@OddsJam.com. I try to be as responsive as I can on email. Or you can just comment on the YouTube video. Let me know what you think, what you agree with, what you disagree with, where my analysis was right, where it was wrong, all that good stuff. And yeah, just let me know. But that's all I got for you. So happy betting, happy watching, and good luck.